I don't know if you know about these emotional support animals, or ESAs. Do you know about this? Okay, a lot of shaking heads out there. You see, it used to be in the old days that only like seeing eye dogs could ride in the cabin with normal human beings. But no longer. Now you can have like feral cats, wild squirrels, like Joey kangaroos, wild turkeys, and they're all shitting on the seats. That's okay. You know, if you need that support, I get it. But what about us normal people who, to get from A to B on an airplane, only need, you know, a couple little airplane bottles of wild turkey bourbon? We don't need an actual wild turkey to hold our hands. And I may sound a little bitter, but because I had a very strange situation, and now is a very exciting point for, I think, for all of us in this show, because I like to ask the audience to use their imaginations. So I want you to imagine that I'm the kind of guy who might take a marijuana edible and get on an airplane. And I was flying maybe, say, from New York to Cancun. And I go and I settle into my seat. And it's really nice and cozy there. And I had 2 seats open next to me. I was next to the window. And like any good person, I was hoping that the flight would be a little bit undersold so that I could have at least a couple seats to myself. And I got my little airplane bottle of wild turkey, and I take it straight like my beer. And I feel like this is going to be a great flight. And then something terrible happens. I look in the aisle, and I see this man in a yellow hat walking down the aisle, middle-aged guy. And in front of him, with him, he has this little monkey. And it's dressed up in a little purple leisure suit. And it has a little purple fedora attached to its head. Maybe it was stapled. I don't know. He's coming down the aisle. And this isn't like some benign monkey like you might find in a children's book. This monkey had the demeanor of like a tough young chimp pimp. I swore that as he came down, he had intro music like a boxer as he comes down the aisle like this. And I swear somewhere I heard 50 Cent rapping, "I'm a motherfucking CHIMP." And I was about to find out, chimping ain't easy. So the little guy settles into his seat, and he pulls out a couple knitting needles and starts knitting a little sweater. And I think, how did he get those through security? That turned out to be the least of my worries. So after we get up to altitude, the little guy gets a little bit restless, and he starts squirming out of his seat. And he comes over to mine, and he puts his hand, and it lands directly on my rod. And I think, oh, this is an accident. But it clearly wasn't an accident when he started giving me an over-the-pants hand job. And so I looked, and I wanted to see how this was registering with him, and his beady little eyes were really enjoying it. And that's when I realized I'm not dealing with some benign children's book monkey. I'm dealing with Bi-Curious George. Which is a whole nother pile of bananas. So I started to freeze up a little bit, I admit, you know. But then I got this amazing thought in my head. I thought, you know, you're a comedian. And I thought, you know, there's a lot of unimaginative amateurs who might join the Mile High Club by having sex in a first-class bathroom. But how many people get jerked off by a monkey and coach? So I was flying with that for a little while, and then I had this other thought, and I said, no, wait a second, this is how AIDS got started.